I met Miguel just 2 months ago in Silicon Valley when we did the D10E event there, and he was running around after all the important people at the conference to make sure that he gets them on an interview. And he kept telling me about this amazing TV show that he has, and I said, yeah, and great. You know, I have 550 people in my head. And then I actually watched this show. And I got to tell you one thing. Not only can he invent on the fly questions, and it's so well documented, but the actual editing is phenomenal. So you should watch his show. It's called Cryptolium. And he was born in America, but at the age of 2, his family took him back to Russia until he was 10. And then he came back to America, and then he went back to Russia. And that's where he's mainly living now with his wife. And I kept hearing all these amazing stories about how his daughter was born just a couple days before mine. Our wives have similar interests. And, you know, we have backgrounds where we went back and forth to the countries of our parents. And I said, okay, you got to come to this cool event, but you have to come with your wife. And so Vit and Jana are coming with their kid. And it's going to be all these small little 2.5, 3-year-old kids playing around. And one day they'll be running the show, and we'll be somewhere floating on somewhere. But anyway, he's got an amazing bio that I'm going to attempt to read, even though I don't read prompter really well. So Cryptolium is this show. And really Google it or go to his YouTube channel and watch it. But he dove into crypto in 2017 for obvious reasons. He looked at blockchain as a revolutionary technology and said, I got to be part of this. I'm not just a TV host trained professional. I also understand technology and economics, which is, I think, very, very important to have the skill of presenting at the same time as understanding economics and technology. In February 2018, the slow started, I think, with the first version of it was after you came from the Singapore cruise, and you shot there with John McAfee and the former President Fox of Mexico, and all these big people that he rubbed shoulders with. And then he came down to our level and said, I want to hang out with you guys. So, you know, we're not ex-presidents of anything. But he's here because he believes in blockchain, like most of us. He's here because he's been watching what Vit and his wife and you libertarians have been doing for a while. And he said, I have to be part of this. And he has a really interesting presentation. He's, you know, to see a journalist who's a TV personality who understands technology, who's between America and Russia as his 2 main countries, and watch ICOs and what's happening in the ICO world. And then when I said that we're going to be packaging the most amazing ICO, the first country ICO, and it's going to be the best work I've ever done with my team, he said he wants to be a part of it. So he actually has an interesting presentation that doesn't have to do with TV hosting or his TV show, which I hope as many of you as possible he will edit into the show. But this is a really interesting presentation about ICOs. So with that, I give you our new friend, Miguel Santiago.
Wow. What an introduction, Mike. Thanks so much. Well, you know, when I look at blockchain, I see that so many people are afraid of blockchain. They don't understand it. They tend to avoid it. They tend to see that it's volatile, so there's certain distrust. And unfortunately, the media has a part to play in that. And me, as a guy coming from the world of media, coming from a background of UCLA, producing and directing, film school, connection through emotion and feeling is how we interact with one another, with the world, with the things that we enjoy and like. And so I thought to myself that the way to implement blockchain into the minds of the masses is through emotion and feeling. And as you see, emotions create understanding, and they create trust, which is very important because that's the problem. People don't trust it, people are afraid of it. Due diligence is important, of course, but then you have to give people a chance to speak. We see so many media out there ridiculing blockchain. We see so many programs out there trying to find and weed out all these little things to, you know, create that typical journalistic hype in the blockchain world without giving it the credit that is due. Because this technology, I believe, can create the progress that this planet needs. One of the first people I met, aside from John McAfee, who I do talk about, but not this time, was Miko Matsumura. That was the second man that I met in my first coming to Singapore, as I've done in the last 2 months, Thailand, Singapore, Silicon Valley, Armenia, Puerto Rico, and now Liberland. And that's pretty amazing because I've never been exposed to this world before the 2 months ago. And you know, Miko of Pantera Foundation, one of the world's largest crypto funds, the founder of the Evercoin exchange, sees crypto as the clear future that will revolutionize every industry and, of course, upgrade everything. And that's something that I explained in my first episodes to the masses, hoping to inspire people to understand that this is just like the internet. Nobody understood it, people were afraid of it, but it changed our lives forever. And this is exactly what we're witnessing right now with blockchain. Now, Bob McDermott was another very interesting persona that I met at the D10E Silicon Valley. He is the original manufacturer of the mousepad, believe it or not. 1984, he sold his company. And he's been in crypto and mining for the last 5 years. And he says that the only people that will not use blockchain or crypto in 5 years are the people without internet. And that was another extremely interesting point, that in 5 years, most of the world that has internet will integrate crypto into our daily lives. Mexico's former president in Singapore, Vicente Fox Quesada, told me that this beautiful thing that we have in our hands needs to be deregulated. He said, I would fire 70% of the Mexican Congress right now if I was the president, because these people are unqualified, untrained to solve today's problems. And I see blockchain as a way to create great social ventures and rid the world of poverty. And that really inspired me, coming from a man of his stature, a politician who sees this and told me that his experience, his first blockchain forum in Singapore, completely rearranged his view on people relations, financial relations, banking relations, while Guy Kawasaki, the original evangelist of the Macintosh computer, who I also met at the D10E Silicon Valley, completely does not believe in crypto. He says, how can I create a phone, I create a computer, I create value. Where's the value in this? I try to explain to him that, a token, kind of like a stock, you invest. If the company has a promising proof of work and a proper technology, it'll grow, and you will grow with it. But he said, it's bullshit, his exact quote. And I had to beep that out, but that was great. It was a great show thing. So the change needs to be in the mind, and that's where the media, the new media for blockchain implementation into socioeconomic growth of our planet, which is what I'm talking about now, just to let you know, that needs to be the first thing. It's the upgrade, not of the technology, but of the mind of the people. And we have to realize that this is the biggest asset transfer in the last 100 years. What makes this different than the discovery of America was that it took a lot of years, right? Several centuries for Manhattan prices to become some of the highest real estate prices in the world. And, it took generations to get those fruits from the discovery of America. In crypto, our children will already bear those fruits. And that's what makes this asset transfer the biggest and the most unique in the last 100 years. Once the Alibaba, the eBay, the Amazon of crypto establish themselves, and the bubble bursts, as it already is, kind of, as we see with the recent huge market corrections since New Year, we will see the value of Bitcoin equalize with its price, and that will hopefully hold that volatility. This was told to me by Jean-Claude Donato, the regional director of eBay and TripAdvisor for Asia in Singapore. Very interesting view that he had on how crypto will establish itself and volatility will cease to be as much as it is right now. And if people truly believe in crypto, they can rid themselves of poverty. And that was a very powerful quote that I heard on my first episode in Thailand from Max Lutsoka, this man right here, who is a Russian crypto blogger who lives in Thailand, And he boasted about his success. He really, bragged how he went into Ethereum early on, from $3,000, made $300,000, bought a condo in Thailand, and, crypto. Woo! Well, some bad Russian folks tracked him in Thailand and robbed him of $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. And that's where I, as a journalist, was of course there knocking on his door, asking him for comment. Mike Gustache of D10E, the leading conference on decentralization, uplifts by bringing minds together that can empower each other to create that future, to create that sovereignty and freedom financially that the world needs so much. And that's why visionaries like Mike are essential to blockchain community and very important to highlight and spotlight in the media world, because there is a lot of loss of quality, right? We see conferences all over the world that are just trying to make a buck. Well, this is not one of them, and that's what's amazing about it. Trying to move further. Regulation needs to be self-regulated. Blockchain is powerful enough to regulate itself. The smart contract solution, the technology is there to allow ICOs to compete, I believe, and so does Ethereum Russia's chairman, Vlad Martinov, friend of Vitaly Buterin's father, right here, thinks that Ethereum, for example, has that in it to allow the smart contracts to escrow the funds, have ICOs compete for creating that technology, and then the best team of people that passes the due diligence gets the money to create that technology. That will ultimately eliminate scams, because you will see people with real proof of work working solutions for that particular ICO idea. Companies will emerge that will create proper regulation for crypto. Facebook, Google, they said, we don't want you guys. That's great. We got companies being set up already that are going to take that advertisement budget that Facebook and Google said no to, and they are going to create the communal companies that will get rid of scams and advertise companies properly with due diligence and create that value. And it's a battle, like my friend Max Kaiser said. Choose your side wisely. Do not keep your crypto in fiat. Keep it in crypto, because that's the sword that we need so much right now against the powers that be. And just like Jeff Brenwick, who was here recently on this stage, said, they're going to come. They're going to come for this. They will. Sooner or later, they will. Protect your private keys at all costs. We've seen cases just a couple weeks ago in Russia. A man lost $1 million in Bitcoin. His face cut up as he was approached by gang, and he had to let go of his private keys. And to the last, I guess he tried to hold on, but now, very unfortunate. So there needs to be also, keep in mind, right? Do not boast about your crypto wallet. And hodl, don't sell, help the price. Because Bitcoin will pull through, like Tone Vays, a crypto market analyst and a Bitcoin maximalist, says. Bitcoin has the best minds working on that technology, and chances are that it will only improve, and there's no way, as people say, it will somehow disappear. But I'm sure we all know that. So what am I saying? Pioneers of the future is the last slide of my presentation. The things that I've learned from meeting people like Mike, Brock, Pierce, Crystal, Rose, building a sustainable blockchain hub zone city. That is the future. That is what Brock is doing in Puerto Rico. That is what Vit Yilichka is doing here. Well, not here, just 100 kilometers from here. And that is essential. Russia, right now, is doing the same. Believe it or not, the internet advisor to Putin is totally a crypto anarchist. And he is building a smart city outside of Moscow that's going to be also all blockchain, so that he can show to the president and say, hey, look, this works. Let's be like Belarus. Let's be like Georgia. Let's be like Armenia. Let's let these people develop. The economy, the money is there. Socioeconomic growth can only come if you let that community flourish, and you don't regulate, and you don't strangle, and you don't destroy this amazing technology that will allow us, I believe truly in my heart as a crypto-anarchist that I'm sure you by now know I am, look up at the stars and think about space exploration, and think about cleaning that space debris that is absolutely overwhelming our stratosphere right now at extreme speeds, destroying some satellites, by the way, but you don't hear about that. Our oceans, which are full of plastic and need help right now, and yet blockchain is the solution because it can automate those machines, it can create the technology to do that. And so one day, we will see that this is what's going to stop us from looking at all these petty wars and these horrible events that we see on the news every day, and truly think about space, which is, I believe, our destiny. Thank you so much. I'm Miguel Francis-Santiago. And now I would like to give you a little preview of what I do by looking at the D10E Puerto Rico episode of Cryptolium.
Puerto Rico has received an influx of blockchain innovators who pledge to transform the region after Hurricane Maria's devastating damage.
What I'm hoping happens is lots of people come to Puerto Rico and they take a look around and they say, wow, this place is beautiful. Wow, these people are amazing. They're so nice. There's so much culture. It's so beautiful here. Why is it that things are so difficult? Why are there such struggles? Maybe I can make a difference. Maybe I can help with this.
The ethos of 3 consecutive conferences, the D10E, Blockchain Unbound, and Coin Agenda, were all working together to build a community of the future and give back to the people of Puerto Rico.
Today we're going to install 5 different solar setups to bring power to homes.
More or less all my talks are on operate with integrity, do no harm, remember that you're building community.
The amazing experience was coupled with exciting after parties for both locals and flocking crypto anarchists to get to know one another.
It's probably some of the best sushi I've ever tried in my life, and I'm not even kidding. You know, I'm not trying to be the nice guy here, you know?
Betche, what's gonna happen to Bitcoin? We even ran into some really exciting speakers at the event, like Wesley Snipes and Max Kaiser.
People say it's the future, and oh my God, who is this? Who is this? Who is this man behind me?
Chicken Nick.
I'm good?
He's good.
I'm good.
He's good.
That's an exclusive from Max Kaiser on Cryptolium, only on RT! Yes! We have our private keys. You cannot have our private keys. These are for our sovereignty as individuals.
And of course, got the usual Nico update and caught up with Crystal Rose.
What's amazing about the regulatory behavior today is we're moving into a new phase, and it is a phase of tremendous legitimacy.
Bringing together people who are going to create change and create lasting, compounding impact.
This was perhaps the most exciting conference series this year. Stay tuned for Cryptolium, building the future in Puerto Rico.